I would like to welcome Minister Burton to the House today. The Taoiseach Enda Kenny said when he recently addressed an IBEC dinner, when this government came into office, we declared that we would no longer tolerate a passive welfare system that abandoned hundreds and thousands of people to unemployment without any real support or engagement. This government has been proactive on this issue in its introduction of the Pathways to Work 2013 strategy, and I compliment all the government departments from the Department of Social Protection, Education and Environment for their commitment in tackling this issue head-on. Long-term unemployment is a cancer within our society. Long-term unemployment is demoralising. The psychological implications can lead to the loss of friends, confidence, self-esteem and self-worth, and lead to isolation and depression. Skills previously acquired become obsolete, and this in turn can decrease any chance of gaining meaningful employment. Long-term unemployment also increases the economic burden on the state in the form of higher social welfare payments, which in turn can lead to higher government borrowing and less tax revenue to the state. The introduction of the Pathways to Work 2013 in July this year seeks to address some of these issues and to put in place once and for all a strategy not alone for those who are long-term unemployed, but a strategy for the betterment of society as a whole. The 50-point action plan involves all the relevant stakeholders from government departments and state agencies working together to tackle this serious issue. Contained in the plan are 10 key performance indicators, one of which is to complete personal profiles on all 422,900 people on the live register to help tailor personalised employment supports for them. The second is to conduct initial one-to-one guidance interviews with job seekers, with 185,000 such interviews to be carried out this year. Crucial to the success of this strategy is the availability of the profiling of the individual, how long he or she has been unemployed, the implications of long-term unemployment, and their ability to engage with the employment services and a possible employer. To this end, I hope that the profiling of a person will involve self-development support and training before they enter into any level of employment. It is imperative that any psychological needs be addressed, and by this I mean confidence building. Having been out of the workforce for a long period of time, many find it difficult to re-enter the workplace without adequate holistic supports. I would like to ask the Minister that these interviews would not be just about ticking the right box on the page in order to create favourable statistics, but would ensure a genuine understanding of the person's situation and their needs in relation to returning to the workforce after a long period of unemployment. Will there be adequate upskilling, self-development and confidence-building programmes made available to them before engaging in interviews or re-entering the workforce? The provision of a one-stop shop of service supports is another welcome step in creating a more streamlined approach to the service and support systems that those in long-term unemployment need. I note that it is intended that all of these intro offices will be rolled out by the end of this year. The Pathways to Work 2013 strategy cannot be implemented properly if all the support mechanisms are not in place and working in tandem and available throughout the country to meet the needs of those requiring their support. I would urge the Minister to drive the delivery of the Intro Work network forward in order that all the services can be delivered efficiently and effectively and in a timely manner to those who most need it. I note the pace of the rollout of these offices is slower than committed to. Is there some way that we in the Seanad can help you in expediting the vital cornerstone of the government's jobs agenda? A recent interim report undertaken by Indicon Economic Consultants found that 52% of almost 3,000 of Jobs Bridge finishers are at present in paid employment since finishing their internship. The Job Plus scheme introduced earlier this year offers employers fixed cash grants to hire people who have been long-term unemployed for periods ranging from 12 months up to 4 years. To qualify for this payment, positions must be over 30 hours a week, spanning 4 days, and subject to the usual PAYE and PRSI deductions. €7,500 is available to employers who take on people who have been unemployed over 12 months and less than 4 years. and €10,000 is available to those unemployed for 4 years and more. Unemployed people who wish to take up unemployment under this scheme must be signing on for job seekers benefit, job seekers allowance or credits. While we are discussing here today the issue of the long-term unemployed, we must also ensure that our school leavers, or those who, for whatever reason, are on the live register, do not become yet another statistic and in the future be classed as long-term unemployed. Do we need to review the eligibility criteria for those wishing to avail of internships on the JobBridge scheme? The current qualifying criteria to avail of a placement on this scheme is to be in receipt of social welfare payment for approximately 3 months or to be signing on for credits. We must guard against the danger that young graduates or those who have recently lost their jobs may lose enthusiasm and self-esteem while they wait for 3 months before being eligible for an internship, which may hold the possibility of new employment prospects. The OECD report recommends that Ireland does much more to assist the unemployed, notably long-term job seekers. It points out a critical need for support and retraining to ward against social exclusion and to ensure that young people are prepared to work as the recovery strengthens. Research undertaken by the ESRI in 2012 indicated that a specific policy approach is required to address the issues of jobless households. And even during the boom years of the early 2000s, the rate of joblessness at household level was very high by European standards. This, the ESRI concluded, reflected structural factors and has little to do with the recession. During the period between 2005 and 2007, when the economy was ostensibly strong and the unemployment rate was at a very low level of 4 or 5%, Ireland had a very low work intensity rate that oscillated between 13% and 15%, while it was 10% on average in the EU. The ESRI found that Ireland reported a relatively high rate of joblessness among working-age adults. The research found that the proportion of people in jobless households had then increased very rapidly following the onset of the recent economic downturn, from 15% in 2007 to 22%, double the average across Europe. The reality is, this government inherited a passive social welfare system that didn't empower the people it was supposed to help. We have a window of opportunity now for long overdue reform of our social welfare structures through the rollout of the intro offices, through tackling poverty traps, for example, the replacement of the rent supplement with the Housing Assistance Payment Scheme, and additional management resources to assist with long-term unemployment. I commend this strategy by the government and its commitment to tackle the problem of long-term unemployment once and for all, an issue which sadly has been so neglected in the past.